So what if I told you the next great war might not be won by the biggest bomb, but by the fastest decision? Warfare is going through this fundamental change, and it's not being driven by bigger explosions, but by smarter, faster information. Today, we're going to break down a new military doctrine called Information Manoeuvre, and it's a concept that is literally rewriting the rules of conflict for the 21st century.
Okay, let's really dig into this, because this one sentence, it's the core of the entire idea. When we hear maneuver, we think of tanks rolling across a field. But this redefines it as shaping perception, tempo, and decision. It's about getting inside your opponent's head, controlling the pace of the fight, and just fundamentally outthinking them before a single shot is even fired.
So why this radical shift, and why now? Well, it's because the whole idea of a battlefield has been completely turned on its head. It's not just about physical ground anymore. We are now fighting in a space where every signal, every single packet of data can be both a weapon and a target.
Imagine you're a commander for a second. You need to move your people, but suddenly that little blue dot on your screen just vanishes. Your GPS, the system you rely on for everything, has been jammed. Or even worse, it's been spoofed and it's feeding you totally bogus location data. You are flying completely blind.
And then it gets worse. The radio goes to static. The encrypted links connecting you to HQ, to your drones, to your soldiers, they're all under attack. The very nervous system of your army is being systematically taken apart, leaving you totally isolated, totally unable to coordinate. And at the exact same time, the narrative itself becomes a weapon. Misinformation is flooding social media, and it's all designed to crumble public support, create chaos, and just destroy the morale of your own troops. The newsfeed has become a front line, just as real as any trench or any hilltop. The old rules, they just don't apply anymore.
So how do you fight in a reality like that? You can't just use the old playbook. This new battlefield, it demands a completely new way of thinking. It's a paradigm shift that takes information out of the background and puts it right at the absolute center of the fight. This slide really gets to the heart of the change. See, in the past, information was seen as a support service, kind of like logistics. It was something that helped the tanks and soldiers do their job. This new doctrine flips that script completely. Information is now its own combat arm, right up there with infantry or artillery. It's not just supporting the fight anymore, it is the fight. And all of this leads to one single ultimate goal, achieving something called decision advantage. And this isn't about having more tanks or bigger guns. It's about outthinking, outpacing, and outmaneuvering the enemy in the cognitive space. It's the ability to see the battlefield clearly, make the right call, and act on it before your opponent even knows what's happening.
So if information is a weapon, who wields it, right? How do you actually organize your forces to fight this new kind of war? Well, the doctrine proposes a brand new type of unit to do just that, the Information Manoeuvre Brigade, or the IMB.
And an IMB is not your traditional brigade. I mean, just look at its core tasks. We're talking about everything from seeding narratives before a conflict even begins, to launching coordinated cyber attacks, all the way to using data analytics to see if their messaging is actually working. This thing is a multi-tool designed for a multi-domain fight. And the structure itself brings all these different pieces together. You've got specialized units for psychological operations, for cyber warfare, for data analysis, all under one roof. And what's really crucial here is that built-in connection to legal and ethics experts, and we'll come back to why that is so important. But you can basically think of the IMB as a kind of special forces for the information age.
Now, it's really important to understand this isn't just some theoretical concept that was dreamed up in a lab. This shift is happening right now all around the world. It's a quiet but incredibly intense global competition.
And you can see this playing out across major world powers. The US has its multi-domain task forces, the UK created the 77th Brigade, Russia has publicly acknowledged its information warfare troops, and China is going all in on the strategy of intelligentization to try and paralyze an adversary's systems. See, they all have different names for it, but what we're really seeing is a global convergence on the exact same idea. The race for decision advantage, that is the new arms race.
Okay, at this point, I know what you might be thinking. Cyber attacks, psychological operations, shaping narratives, this all sounds a little dystopian. But the architects of this doctrine argue there's a crucial element here that makes it not only acceptable, but actually more effective.
And here it is. This might be the most surprising, most counterintuitive idea in this entire framework. The argument is that having strict ethical rules isn't a handicap, it's a strategic advantage, a combat multiplier. I mean, how could that possibly be true?
Well, it's built on these 3 pillars. First, a human is always responsible. No killer robots making their own calls. Second, any AI systems you use have to be certified to make sure they're safe and unbiased. And third, everything has to comply with the law. The thinking is, by operating this way, you build trust with your own people, you maintain legitimacy on the world stage, and you strengthen cohesion with your allies. In this new battlefield, trust is a weapon.
So when you put all of this together, it becomes really clear that the very nature of winning and losing in war has changed. Victory is no longer just about taking territory. It's about controlling the flow of information, and, ultimately, it's about mastering the speed of decision-making.
And that leaves us with a final, pretty sobering thought. In this new era, where victory hinges not on who fires first, but on who decides first, what becomes the first casualty? Is it truth? Is it deliberation? That's a question that's going to define the future of conflict.